All praises to the Most High God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. And peace to everyone joining me on this program. This is the Fountain of Israel's Bibles Studies program. And as always, it's an honor for me to stand before you on the Lord's holy Sabbath day. Shabbat, Shalom, one and all. Thank you for joining me, Israel. Now listen, one of the things, I'm going to jump right into it, right? One of the things that I've heard back in the past, but people tend to use it still to this day, not so much them in the Hebrew faith, not so much, in this messianic walk. However, it is used amongst Christians and non-Christians, like, atheists or naturalists or whatever, who, not necessarily of the Bible, but even you'll notice that even outside the Bible, people use it, and they'll say something to the effect of, judge not, don't judge me, judge not lest you be judged, and stuff like that, right? So in this lesson, I just want to go over and let you know that, that's kind of taken out of context, right? So we're going to get into that, but that's taken out of context because the Bible, throughout the Bible, I'm going to show you this, throughout the Bible, it commands us to judge righteously, right? And to officiate, to adjudicate matters. We're set up to do that, right? We're supposed to be set up to do that, okay? And that's what the Bible teaches, to judge righteously. It's not saying don't judge at all. It's saying if you're going to judge, judge righteously. Keep that same energy in every judgment. But you're going to have a whole lot of butter muffins out there who try to come in and use that one and isolate right on that one verse and think that is the message of the entire Bible. So we're going to go through some scriptures just to show you that, no, that's not the entire message. That's not it. And you know what I like to do? I like to go right to where they want to go, right? So they don't think I'm running from, I'm aiming right for it. Matter of fact, I'll meet you right there, right? So let's go on over here to Luke 6 and 37. Luke 6 and 37. Luke chapter 6, verse 37, right? I want to go right to it, and we're gonna deal with it, right? Luke 6:37, which reads, "Judge not, and ye shall not be judged. Condemn not, and ye shall not be condemned. Forgive, and ye shall be forgiven. Give, and it shall be given unto you. Good measure, pressed down, shaken together, and running over. Shall men give into your bosom? For with the same measure that ye meet withal, it shall be measured to you again." The same way you judge a matter, the same way the matter is going to be judged according to you, right? And he spake a parable unto them, right? Can the blind lead the blind? Shall they not both fall into the ditch? The disciple is not above his master, but everyone that is perfect shall be as his master. And why beholdest thou the mote that is in thy neighbor's eye, but perceivest not the beam that is in thine own eye? Either how canst thou say to thy brother, Brother, let me pull out the mote that is in thine eye, when thou thyself beholdest not the beam that is in thy own eye? Thou hypocrite, cast out first the beam out of thy own eye, and then shalt thou see clearly to pull out the mote that is in thy neighbor's eye. Look at what we're saying, right? So when the Messiah was breaking it down, when we look at it in context, he was breaking it down and saying, if you're going to judge something, judge it righteously, right? So you're telling your neighbor, okay, brother, it's not right for you to be sleeping with another man's wife. And then you're still guilty of it. It's not right for you to say that, okay? Now, although the judgment is right, but you should not be guilty of it, right? In other places in the Bible, and we may get there if we have time, it'll say, you know what? You say, thou shalt not steal, but do you steal, right? So just don't be guilty of that which you are correcting someone of, right? Don't be guilty of, be above it, right? Be above it, right? There's another, it's a little story or proverb, and this woman was going to a guru, and she said, hey, I would like for you to talk to my son. I think it was an adult son. I want you to talk to my son and to convince him to, quit smoking, and, it's not good for him and all this other stuff, right? And so the guru said, you know what, I'll talk to him, in a year, right? And then he comes back after a year and he goes to talk to him. And then she said, well, why a year? Why we have to wait a whole year before you talk to him about something? He said, because I had to quit smoking first. So if you are guilty of something, work on yourself, right? Because the first thing we got to do is work out our own salvation with fear and trembling. So do not let one of these butter muffins come up to you and be like, oh, judge not, or whatever, right? First of all, if you're not guilty of it, you can judge the matter. Now, again, our judgment have to come also to those who are submitted unto us. Brethren to brethren, pastor to follower, Bible teacher to the student, stuff like that. There's got to be like relationship. You running around passing judgment on people that have no relationship to you or not submitted to the same faith you have or whatever, it makes no doggone sense. No sense at all, okay? It doesn't do anything. Yeah, you can say it to yourself or whatever, but it doesn't make any sense for you to see someone walking down the street, you don't know them, they don't know you, whatever, and then you just passing, you just making a judgment and all that, right? Now, if you're trying to teach something, that's different. Right? Because you don't know if you're talking to someone who knows the law or not. You don't know if someone who shares your faith or not. You don't know, right? You have no idea. So, and if not, hey, if they don't share your faith, their faith's already sealed. They've already made their decision, right? But we're talking about judging one another, judging brethren, right? So we're going to get further and further into that. Exodus 18. Let's go to the beginning of the book. I'll be reading out of the King James. I go back and forth between the King James and the Scriptures version for you guys, but this time we're going to go Exodus 18. Don't worry, I still have my scriptures for those who are wondering. Still have that. Let's see, Exodus 18. I'm going to read 13, and we're going to go from 13 to 26. 18 reads this way. And it came to pass on the morrow that Moses sat to judge the people. And the people stood by Moses from the morning unto the evening. So all day he was judging matters, right? All day. And when Moses' father-in-law saw all that he had did to the people, and he said, what is this thing that thou doest to the people? Why sittest thou thyself alone, and all the people stand by thee from morning unto evening? Like this thing takes all day for you to judge and adjudicate matters. Everybody's standing around this long line. The line is wrapped around, it's wrapped around the camp, basically. All right, this is a long time. And Moses said unto his father-in-law, because the people come unto me to inquire of God. And when they have a matter, they come unto me, and I judge between one and the other. And I do make them know the statutes of God and his laws. And Moses' father-in-law said unto him, the thing that thou doest is not good. It's like, dude, you take it on way too much. Thou wilt surely wear away, both thou and this people that is with thee. For this thing is too heavy for thee. Thou art not able to perform it thyself alone. Hearken now unto my voice, and I will give thee counsel, and God shall be with thee. Be thou for the people to Godward, that thou mayest bring the causes unto God. And thou shalt teach them ordinances and ways, and shall show them the way wherein they must walk, and the work that they must do. Okay, look at what he's saying. His father-in-law is giving him good advice, right? 21. Moreover, thou shalt provide out of all the people able men, such as fear God, men of truth, hating covetousness, and place such over them to be rulers of thousands, and rulers of hundreds, and rulers of fifties, and rulers of tens. This is exactly how the Most High is going to set up his government when he comes, but that is another lesson. 22. And let them judge the people at all seasons, and it shall be that every great matter they shall bring into thee, but every small matter they shall judge. So shall it be easier for thyself, and they shall bear the burden with thee. If thou shalt do this thing, and God command thee so, then thou shalt be able to endure. And all this people shall also go to their place in peace. So Moses hearkened to the voice of his father-in-law and did all that he had said. Look at the respect that he has, right? We don't have that kind of respect today, but look at the respect that he has. So he listens to the voice of his mother-in-law, and his father-in-law, and also the father-in-law had respect for the Most High. He said, okay, if the Most High will or whatever, I think you should do this, right? So 25, and Moses chose able men out of all of Israel and made them heads over the people, rulers of thousands, rulers of hundreds, rulers of fifties, and rulers of tens. And they judged the people at all seasons. And Moses, and the hard causes they brought unto Moses, but every small matter they judged themselves. And Moses let his father-in-law depart, and he went his way into his own land. So before father-in-law left, he left him some good advice. He said, man, you are out here doing all this. But again, the point is Israel was set up to judge one another. Judge one another of what thus says the Lord. Just like, I did my AMA, my, Ask Me Anything, series that I still have. I still have that. That's going to be an ongoing series from time to time when you guys have questions. And again, in the comment section down below, put your questions down there. If you have a Bible question, if it's not a Bible question, I'm going to just ignore it. No offense, but I'm not going to, go on about something that's not Bible related. So, but put your questions down in the comment section down below. But again, Israel is set up to judge one another. That's the whole thing. Okay, that's my point, right? And I know some people are gonna say, "Oh, that's the Old Testament." We'll get to the New Testament. We don't run to any one text. We go Old Testament, New Testament, front, back. It don't matter. Okay, it don't matter to us here. So we're gonna look at that now. Let's go on over to Exodus 21. Okay, Exodus 21. I'm gonna read 22 to 25. 22 says this: If men strive and hurt a woman with child, so that her fruit depart from her, in other words, she has a miscarriage, and yet no mischief follow, he shall be surely punished according as the woman's husband will lay upon him. Yeah, you make my wife lose the baby. Yeah, it's gonna be ugly for you. And he shall pay as the judges determine, right? Whatever the judges determine. And if any mischief follow, then thou shalt give life for life, right? Give life for life. This is where you get that eye for an eye, tooth for tooth, right? But here it is. If any mischief shall follow, then thou shalt give life for life. Eye for eye, tooth for tooth, hand for hand, foot for foot, burning for burning, wound for wound, stripe for stripe. And if a man smite the eye of his servant or the eye of his maid, that it perish, he shall let him go free for his eye's sake, right? So, this is a judgment, making things right? So again, Israel set up to judge one another, right? Set up. I'm just showing you like a particular judgment, right? These are some judgments, things that need to, that's supposed to happen. All right. I'm not saying you do these things today. I'm just saying it's the judgment set up. Okay. So let's go on over to Deuteronomy 1. Okay. Deuteronomy 1. Now watch this. It says Deuteronomy 1, and I'm going to read verse 16. Deuteronomy 1 and 16 reads this way: And I charge your judges at that time, saying, hear the causes between your brethren, and judge righteously between every man and his brother and the stranger that is with him. Let me read it again, just so you guys know. The reason why I go the Tanakh is because we have to look at the foundation, right? So I'm here in the Torah, and I want to see the foundation, and then we can see if anything changes later, right? So, but what we need is the foundation, okay? Deuteronomy 1:16. And I charge your judges at that time, saying, hear the causes between your brethren, and judge righteously between every man and his brother and the stranger that is with him, right? So I'm going to go to Deuteronomy 1 and 16, because what I want to do is I want to look up that word judge. 1:16. And Judges, okay, with this shafat, right, which is 81:99 in the Hebrew. It says to judge, to govern, to vindicate or punish, to act as a lawgiver or judge or governor, right, to rule or to govern, to decide controversies of God and man, to execute judgment, vindication, discrimination, right? But discrimination, not the bad discrimination, good discrimination. To discriminate between right and wrong, right? Okay. To enter into controversy, please have controversy together to be judged, right? Okay, so that's that lexicon there. And it said that is pronounced sentence, by implication to vindicate or punish, by extension to govern, passively to litigate, okay, to condemn or contend, to defend, to execute judgment, be a judge, to plead, to reason, to rule, right? So now we have an idea. So we are to do those things, okay, according to the Tanakh, right? So we're supposed to look at certain matters and be able to decide right and wrong, what thus says the Most High, right? That's what we're supposed to do. Okay, that's what we're here for. And another thing, a lot of people, doing communities and stuff like that, this is one of the frustrations, that they had. And so they took that model that Moses just put together, putting up judges, right? So we already had judges before the book of Judges, right? It was just that we didn't have the ultimate, we didn't have that ultimate judge, like Moses, the lawgiver after, and Joshua, he had passed away, right? But we judges, we had judges before the book of Judges, right? It's just that we didn't have a king over us. We didn't have this prophet over them. They didn't have those type of things. A particular prophet over everybody, right? Didn't have that. So that ought to give you an idea of what's going on there and how we're supposed to judge a matter. But we're still in Deuteronomy, and I want to go to 16, if you will. Okay? So let's look at a few more things. 16. All right, and when I get to Deuteronomy 16, I want to read 18 and 19. And it says this, and judges and officers shall thou make thee in all thy gates, which the Lord thy God giveth thee throughout thy tribes, and they shall judge the people with just judgment. Thou shalt not wrest judgment or twist judgment. Thou shalt not respect persons, neither take a gift. For a gift doth blind the eyes of the wise and pervert the words of the righteous. So you are not going to take a bribe for your judgment. You're going to judge righteously. It doesn't matter who this person is. Oh, I've known this person for 10 years and all that. No, wrong is wrong. Right is right. Okay. You got to keep your feelings out of it when you judge a matter. Okay. This is when brethren dwell together, right? If whether you're in a Hebrew Israelite community, got to judge matters, right? Issues are going to come up. Misunderstanding is going to come up. Wrong will happen, unfortunately. Or whether you are in a MAG or a mutual assistance group, you're just near other brethren, matters have to be adjudicated, right? And you got to do it righteously. So don't listen to the people that, oh, judge not, don't judge. We got to judge something, okay? You got to make a determination on something sometime, right? So we have to do that. Okay, so let's go ahead and keep going. We're going to look at 1 Samuel. Okay, let's go to 1 Samuel. And when I get there, I want to go to chapter 7, actually. Okay, and when I get to chapter 7, I'm going to read 15 through 17. Now let's look at this. It says, and Samuel judged Israel all the days of his life. And he went from year to year in circuit to Bethel and Gilgal and Mizpah and judged Israel in all those places. And his return was to Ramah, for there was his house. And there he judged Israel. And there he built an altar unto the Lord. Okay, so this is what we're talking about. Okay, so he built an altar unto the Lord. This is what this is Samuel was a judge in Israel. I think he was the last judge in Israel. And after that, we had kings, right? He was the last judge, official judge in Israel. But when we're together, we are to judge certain matters, right? We are to judge certain matters. Okay, so this whole idea of this judge not, that sort of thing, that's out the door. That's out the window. Don't let them try to tell you what the scripture says, especially you, Israel, who actually read the scriptures. Don't let someone come to you and give you something completely out of context. Okay? Don't let them do that. All right? So we're going to look at this matter. We're going to take a look at all of it. Because they're going to be like, well, he said, oh, that's the last one. You won't judge. No, stop it. Pay attention. Stay with me. Okay? Let's go to Matthew chapter 7. Matthew chapter 7. So we did Luke 6, but let's do Matthew 7. We're going to do 1 through 6. It says, judge not that ye be not judged. For with what judgment ye judge, ye shall be judged. And with what measure ye mete, it shall be measured to you again. And why beholdest thou the mote that is in thy brother's eye, but considerest not the beam that is in thy own eye, right? So the same thing. We're just looking at it again. And how wilt thou say to thy brother, let me pull out the mote out of thy own eye, and behold, a beam is in thy own? Thou hypocrite, First, cast out the beam out of thy own eye, and then shalt thou see clearly to cast out the mote out of thy brother's eye. Give not that which is holy unto the dogs, neither cast your pearls before swine, let they trample them underfoot. Okay, so actually I wanted to stop at 5. I didn't even need I didn't need all of that. All I need was 5. So here's the thing. He didn't say not to judge at all. He just said the way you judge, that's how you will be judged. So what if you judge righteously? What if you judge righteously? Then you will be judged righteously. That's the idea there. The idea is not judge not, never judge, just don't judge anybody or anything like that, right? The proof is still in the text. Because he didn't say don't judge at all, ever. Because if you go right back to the text, he said in verse 5, thou hypocrite, first cast out the beam out of thy own eye, and then shalt thou see clearly to cast out the mote out of thy brother's eye. So first, again, like I said earlier, don't be guilty of the same thing. Don't be laden of sin. You're not in this walk. You're not really trying. You know what I'm saying? Again, it doesn't mean, oh, you never sinned ever. No, it's just that you're mature now. All right, mature in this walk now, or you're at least a little bit ahead of your brother now in the walk, okay, or in a particular area of sin. It didn't have a hold on you. So yeah, go tell your brother. Okay, we're not supposed to do that. But not, oh, never judge. That's not what we're saying, right? So let's go on back real quick. Psalm. Okay, we're gonna go Psalm. Let's see, Psalm 2. Okay, Psalm 2 and verse 10. 2 and 10, it says, excuse me. Be wise now, therefore, O ye kings, be instructed, ye judges of the earth. Ye judges of the earth. Even calls us judges, right? Even calls us, be wise, be smart, judges, right? Got a whole book about judges, okay? So, be wise, be smart, you know. Okay, Psalms 10:18. Let's look and see what that says. Psalm 10:18. It says this. To judge the fatherless, what were we supposed to do, right? To judge the fatherless and the oppressed, that the man of the earth may no more oppress, right? We're supposed to do that. So just back up to 17 and get a little bit more context, right? We say, Lord, thou hast heard the desire of the humble men. Thou will prepare their heart. Thou will cause thy ear to hear. To judge the fatherless and the oppressed, that the man of the earth may no more oppress. Okay, so the Most High is our ultimate judge, right? And we're supposed to model after him when we have judgment. That's how we're supposed to do. If we see clear examples on how we're supposed to judge, then we need to follow that. Okay? So for us as humans, we need to hear the matter, right? We need to hear the whole matter before we speak on it. We need to hear both sides or look at the evidence, okay? Look at the situation and the motives and things like that. That's how we do it. This whole judging in court system, this is nothing new, right? It's nothing new. So we should be able to judge among the brethren, right? So that's how we're supposed to look at this thing. We're supposed to be able to judge among the brethren. Now again, some people won't like the verdict or the answer, but hey, right is right. That's the bottom line. Right is right. Let's go to Proverbs. Okay. I just want one verse out of there. Everybody likes the famous, Proverbs 31, but I only want one verse out of there. Okay. So Proverbs 31, and the verse that I want is 9. What it says, open thy mouth, judge righteously, and plead the cause of the poor and needy. Judge righteously. Fair is fair. So that judgment and that fairness, that's gonna come from us, brothers and sisters. That's gonna come from us. One more time. Open thy mouth, judge righteously, and plead the cause of the poor and needy. And when it says don't be a respecter of person, it doesn't matter. You know the person. It doesn't matter. You have to judge righteously. It doesn't matter. Oh, this person is famous. Doesn't matter. Right is right. Oh, this person has a lot of money. Doesn't matter. Right is right. It's just that simple. Right is right. When you have to, when you are in a place of where you have to judge a matter. That's it. So we're gonna judge. We gotta judge righteously. It's not judge not. It's judge righteously. Matthew 7. Matthew 7. 7. And we're going to do 15 through 20. Okay. We have to judge between people. Right? And here we got to judge between false prophets. So Matthew 7:15 says, "Beware false prophet, which come to you in sheep's clothing, but inwardly they are ravening wolves." Okay. Then he tells us how to recognize them, how to judge whether or not someone is a false prophet or not. We have to judge that. We have to discern that, right? So we have to judge this. 16, "You shall know them by their fruit. Do men gather grapes of thorns or figs of thistles? Even so, every good tree bringeth forth good fruit, but a corrupt tree bringeth forth evil fruit. The good tree cannot bring forth evil fruit, neither can a corrupt tree bring forth good fruit. Every tree that bringeth not forth good fruit is hewn down and cast into the fire. Wherefore, by their fruits ye shall know them." By their fruit, that's how you're going to be able to tell or judge whether or not someone is a false prophet, by the doctrine that they bring you, the fruit of lies. Okay, whether or not they're bringing you the fruit of lies, they're bringing you deception, they're bringing you false doctrine. Now you can judge and say, you know what, this person, they lie about this, they lie about that, they lie about nothing but lie. It's time for me to move on. That's a false prophet. You just judge whether or not that person was a false prophet. Nothing wrong with that. Judge righteously. You're judging them according to their fruit. He's telling us, you're judging them according to what they say and what they do. That's it. Not according to their reputation, not according to how much money they have, not according to their stature, not according to their social media following. You're not doing that according to that. You're doing it according to the facts before you, what they say, what they do, and the evidence made available to you. That's how you judge righteously. Let's keep it moving, guys. Let's keep it moving. Right? I just want you to understand. So Zechariah, trying to get you to understand. Let's go to Zechariah chapter 3, first 7 verses. It says, "And he showed me Joshua, the high priest, standing before the angel of the Lord, and Satan standing at his right hand to resist him. And the Lord said unto Satan, the Lord rebuke thee, O Satan, even the Lord that has chosen Jerusalem rebuke thee. Is not this a brand plucked out of the fire? Now Joshua was clothed with filthy garments, and stood before the angel. And he answered and spake unto those that stood before him, saying, Take away the filthy garments from him. And unto him he said, Behold, I have caused thy iniquity to pass from thee, and I will clothe thee with change of raiment. And I said, Let them set a fair mitre upon his head. So they set a fair mitre upon his head, and clothed him with garments. And the angel of the Lord stood by. And the angel of the Lord protested unto Joshua, saying, Thus said the Lord of hosts, If thou wilt walk in my ways, and if thou wilt keep my charge, then thou shalt also, what? Judge my house, and shall also keep my courts, and I will give thee places to walk among these that stand by. I'm going to put you in a position of authority. Right? I'm going to put you in a position of authority. Part of that is that judgment is giving him a place. He said right here in verse 7, he said, If thou will walk in my ways. Part of that is walk in his ways, follow his law, statutes, and commandments, walk in my ways, you do what I tell you. If thou will keep my charge, okay, everything that he says, obey. And then y'all shall also judge my house, be in charge, making judgment of the house, and shall also keep my courts. Okay, you're going to have a position. I will give thee places to walk among these that stand by. Okay, so you're going to have some authority. This is what he's talking about. You're going to have some authority if you judge righteously. If you keep my charge, if you do what I say, if you keep my commandments, you walk in my ways. If you do these things, I'm going to put you in a position of power. Judge righteously. It's the same thing in the parable when he's talking about of the talents, right? Look at the reward at the end of that parable. I'm going to give you charge over 10 cities. 5 cities. You see what I'm saying? See, this is part of him setting up his government, because if you've been following the ministry, you notice that that the Most High is a Yah of order and protocol. There's levels to this. But we have to be able to judge rightly. See, there's a certain skill set that he wants to put in his children, right? There's certain skill sets he wants to put in his bride. Okay, that's us. One of them is the ability to judge a matter righteously. That's part of it. See, all these things that he wants us to do, it's character building. The type of person you're supposed to be. Righteousness in, sin out. Right? You're supposed to be doing that. We're supposed to be tried and refined like gold. To be able to judge a matter, to be able to look at something and not be prejudiced or biased towards anything. Just look at it right down the line. Let's look at this matter and let's see what thus says the Lord. Gentlemen, brothers, it starts in your home. Parents, be able to judge between siblings, especially when there's a disagreement. You are making judgments. See, that is just a small little microcosm of the overall judgment. Right now, you just judge your home, judge small matters, right? Right? Like for instance, you judge matters between, your children, right? So you judge those small matters. And then it extends outside your home if you're found worthy to be able to judge. Right? So we should be able to do that type of thing. He's trying to get what out of us? Leadership, trying to get some wisdom, trying to get some leadership, trying to get some discipline and self-control. Trying to get some temperance and some patience. These things that he's trying to get out of us. And one of the other things is what this lesson is about, judgment. Trying to get us to know how to judge righteously. All of this is character development. All of it. All of it. Now, sometimes you may not have the opportunity to explain this to some people. People who don't even follow the faith, people who don't even get in the word or anything like that. They hear one little thing that they like, and that's just their little pet scripture, and they go run with it. Judge not. Oh, are you judging me? Judge not. What are you doing? Doesn't your book say don't judge people? Judge not lest you be judged. All that, I understand you trying to talk to some of these people. And, the electricity on, but the bulb is out. Okay? I get it. I get it. But again, we're just judging those who are in our circle, in our faith, in our belief. The heathens will rage. Let them. You just let them. Right? So let's keep going. We're going to go to 1 Kings. I want to look at something else. I'm going to go to 1 Kings. I want to go to chapter 3. Chapter 3. And do 16 to 28. Chapter 3, 16. Let's look at this a little bit. Then came there 2 women that were harlots unto the king and stood before him. And the one woman said, O my lord, I and this woman dwell in one house. And I was delivered of a child with her in the house. And it came to pass the third day after that I was delivered, that this woman was delivered also. And we were together. And there was no stranger with us in the house, save we two in the house. So he said, there's nobody else there. It was just us. Right? And these are harlots, right? Because the father's nowhere around. It's just two, Okay. Save us two in the house. And this woman's child died in the night because she overlaid it, right? Because she slept on, it's like she slept on the baby, right? And she arose at midnight and took my son from beside me, and while thou handmaid slept, and laid it in her bosom, and lay her dead child in my bosom. And when I rose in the morning to give my child suck, behold, it was dead. But when I had considered it in the morning, behold, it was not my son, which I did bear. And the other woman said, Nay, but the living is my son, and the dead is thy son. And this said, No, but the dead is thy son, and the living is my son. Thus they spake before the king. So they were going back and forth. They said, No. The dead one is hers, the living one is mine. No. The living one is mine, the dead one is hers. No. She did this, and she tried to swap babies and all that. No. All that, right? They going back and forth, King Solomon, right? So they're going back and forth. Okay? So let's see what Solomon want to do. So this is what they said before the king. Then said the king, the one said, This is my son that liveth, and thy son is the dead. And the other said, Nay, but thy son is the dead, and my son is the living. And the king said, Bring me a sword. And they brought a sword before the king. And the king said, Divide the living child in two, and give half to one and half to the other. Then spake the woman, whose the living child was, unto the king. Now this is the one who's actually telling the truth unto the king. For her bowels yearn upon her son. And she said, O my lord, give her the living child, and in no wise slay it. So please don't just give the baby to this woman. Don't kill it, right? That's basically what she said. But the other said, Let it be neither mine nor thine, but divided. So again, if this is your child, why would you want the child to die? Right? You were just in there arguing for the child, saying this is mine, this is mine, this is mine. But you're like, you know what? Cutting it in half is a good idea. Come on, people. He said, but divided. 27. Then the king answered and said, Give her the living child, and in no wise slay it. She is the mother thereof. And all Israel heard of the what? Judgment which the king had judged. And they feared the king, for they saw that the wisdom of God was in him to do judgment. It was a good call. It was a good call. Now we have to think about it at the time. Now right now we think, oh, that's easy. It's no big deal or whatever. I know, because we're just so smart today. But that was a good call. All right. Today we have DNA tests, right? They didn't have that back then. And he just wanted to look at the situation, look at the matter, and say, wait a minute, hold on, okay. So again, he had no dog in the fight. King Solomon had no dog in the fight, and he said, wait a minute. You say the dead one is hers and the living one is yours, and you say the dead one is hers and the living one is yours. Okay, let's see. He said, okay, so let's go ahead and cut it in half. Let's go divide them, give them both a piece of baby. Right? Let's go ahead and give them a piece of baby, right? And of course, the actual mother of the child, rather than see hurt come to her child, rather her child being slain, she'd rather that the child live without her than to see the baby die. Then you got this wicked butter muffin over here on the other side, like, oh, you know what? That's a good idea. We can both have two pieces of a baby. Really? That's what we're doing? So even you and I can judge a matter like that, right? That's wisdom. We can judge a matter like that because of the motivation behind it, right? Brothers and sisters, it's okay. It's okay if we have to judge a matter. It's okay. Let's go on back up to the New Testament real quick. And we're going to go to John 7. Okay, John 7. John 7. I just want one verse, 24. And look what he says. He says, judge not according to the appearance, but judge righteous judgment. Don't judge according. I know what it looks like. But judge not how someone looks. Judge according to the situation. I know there's a lot of brothers and sisters out there. Put a comment, in the comment section. Let me know if you judge like judge shows, right? Any kind. I don't care if it's merit ones, civil ones, or whatever. If you look at those court shows, okay, pay attention to how judges decide a matter, right? What do? They look at different people's motivation, right? Okay, let me hear this side. Okay, let me hear this side. Let me hear this. Okay, what are you alleging? Okay, let's hear your defense. All right, or is there any evidence? Okay, they look at motivation. They look at motives, things like that. They look at they listen to testimony, what people are saying. If there's some holes in their logic, if they're saying something that's not quite like, it doesn't sound right, right? So they're looking at those type of things. Okay, so if you're one of those ones who actually looks at all these court shows and stuff, like, you get an idea, right? You get an idea. It's the same principle, the exact same principle. Okay, if some things are not adding up, then you decide against it. Okay, if somebody has lack of evidence or their testimony is not making any sense or whatever, if there are some witnesses, either amount to 2 or 3 witnesses, if there are no witnesses, no evidence or something, right? So we got to get motivation there, right? There's a lot of unseemly thing go on in Israel. We got to judge that and get that out of Israel. We should be able to judge matters, right? We should be able to do that. Romans. Let's go to Romans. And we're going to go to chapter 2. We're going to do the first 3 verses. Romans chapter 2, 1 through 3. Therefore thou art inexcusable, O man, whosoever thou art that judgest. For wherein thou judgest another, thou condemnest thyself. For thou that judgest doest the same things. You can't be guilty of the same thing you're trying to judge someone of. Verse 2. But we are sure that the judgment of God is according to truth against them which commit such things. And thinkest thou this, O man, that judgest them which do such things and doest the same, that thou shalt escape the judgment of God. So you think that you judge somebody else. Okay, I'll use stealing, for example. You judging someone, oh, you thief. That's a sin. You're gonna go to hell and all that. And you are robbing people blind. You're doing the same thing. Still stealing. So you judging this brother because he's breaking into people's houses, stealing their belongings, right? And go selling it somewhere. But you're doing identity theft. And so this scripture is saying, like in verse 3, it says, and thinkest thou this, O man, that judges them which do such things. I'm using stealing as an example. And doest the same thing. You steal too. That thou shalt escape the judgment of God. You really think you're going to get away with that? You think you're in good standing? Really? At least the Sunday preachers, at least most of the time, at least they kind of stay away from certain things because they are guilty of it. I'll give them that much credit. Okay? I'll give them that much credit. A lot of them, they don't talk about, don't eat pork or whatever because they know they're about to go have that for lunch. They already know that. They don't really talk about that. Oh, no, catfish doesn't have fences because they know they about the church has a fish fry, and it's catfish. So they don't talk about that. So at least they don't talk about something. They try to do that. But us, don't be guilty of something that you are trying to help someone get past. Don't be guilty of it. Because the truth is, both of you need to come out of it. And you say, well, brother, wait a minute. If someone's doing something wrong, and why wouldn't you point that out? How come you got to show Israel's cry loud, spare not, show Israel their sins and all that? Okay, I get that. Problem is, it goes back to something I said earlier. First and foremost, work out your own salvation with fear and trembling. Get the thing right, the issue right in your life, and then correct someone else, right? And all I'm saying, and I'm not saying, oh, well, you got to have everything right, you got to be perfect, I'm not even saying that, because then you will never correct none of us can correct anybody on anything, because we don't have it 100% right. But you just don't be guilty of the same thing. Paul pointed out right here. You do the same thing. What is going on? You think you're going to get away with it? You kind of correct your brother. You judging someone else for doing a thing, and you do the same thing. Let's just keep that in mind. Okay? Let's keep that in mind. We're going to keep going. Okay, we're in Romans 2. Let's go up to Romans 14. Let's go up to Romans 14. 14, let's start at 3, right? 14, let's start at 3. Now watch this. Verse 3 and 14 in Romans, it says, let not him that eateth despise him that eateth not. Let's say, for instance, if someone eat meat and then you have another, who don't eat meat, right? Because you got those people out there too, right? It said, let not him that eateth despise him that eateth not, and let not him which eateth not judge him that eateth, for God has received him. Who art thou that judges another man's servant? To his own master he standeth or fall, right? His own master determines that. You don't judge another man's household, how he runs it or anything. You keep your mouth shut, right? Because it's not you. You're not running a household. Okay, that's what I'm talking about, another man's servant or something like that. You don't do that. Okay? You don't judge another man's household. Okay? But let's look at it. It said, to his own master he standeth or fall. Yea, he shall be holden up, for God is able to make him stand, right? You don't know if the Most High is with them or not. 5. One man esteemeth one day above another. We're not talking about the Sabbath. Another esteem every day alike. Let every man be fully persuaded in his own mind. Okay, he didn't say anything about the Sabbath. Okay, to someone, they may think a particular day, someone say, Wednesday is my prayer day. I just think Wednesday is a good day for me to pray. Another guy said, nah, every day I pray every day. Something like that. Let's keep it generic, because right here this is generic, right? So we're going to keep it generic. Okay. He that regarded the day regarded it unto the Lord. Who you're going to set aside a special prayer day or something like that, just for an example. And he that regarded not the day to the Lord, he does not regard it. He that eateth to the Lord, for he giveth God thanks. And he that eateth not to the Lord, he eateth not, and giveth God thanks. Okay, same thing, right? For none of us liveth to himself, and no man dieth to himself, right? We're all in community together, okay? For whether we live unto the Lord, and whether we die unto the Lord, right? So we were bought with a price, right? I'm not necessarily talking about community living. I'm just saying we're bought with a price, so we belong to him, right? Live or die, it's to the Messiah, okay? It says, and whether we live, therefore, or die, we are the Lord's, right? Bought with a price. 9. For to this end Christ both died and rose and revived, that he might be Lord both of the living and dead. But why dost thou judge thy brother? Or why dost thou set at naught thy brother? For we shall all stand before the judgment seat of Christ. For it is written, as I live, said the Lord, every knee shall bow to me, and every tongue shall confess to God. So then every one of us shall give an account of himself to God. Let us not therefore judge one another anymore, but judge this rather, that no man put a stumbling block or an occasion to fall in his brother's way. Right? That harsh final judgment, right? That harsh final, because he said in the end, we're all going to stand before the judgment seat of the anointed. We're going to stand before the judgment seat of God. So why are we going to judge so harshly? Final judgment. Because you got people out there putting the final judgment. They're saying, okay, this person's going to go to hell. Oh, this person, they condemned already. Oh, they're dead already. Oh, this part of 2/3. They say all kinds of things out there, casting this final judgment. But rather, let's not put a stumbling block in front of each other. How about we not do that? Because if you condemn someone, which neither one of us have the right to condemn someone forever, right? But if you condemn someone and convince them that they're condemned and they have no hope, then what is the point of them trying to turn to the Most High? What is the point of them trying to keep these law, statutes, and commandments? What is the point of them believing in Messiah if they're already condemned? You already convinced them that they are condemned. It's kind of a stumbling block, wouldn't you say? Like, if you say, well, you can't get right with the Most High now. It's over. It's over. And I'm talking about everything except for, blaspheming of the Holy Spirit, the unforgivable sin and all those. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about in general. Let's not digress in something like that. Let's not throw out a red herring. Let's not do that. Okay. Let's just stick with what we're talking about right here. Okay. So if you convince someone that they can't not, it's over for them, then what is the point of them correcting their behavior? Wouldn't you say that is a stumbling block? Okay, so in the chat, type yes or yes. Let me know. Would you say that's a stumbling block? Okay. So let's go ahead and we're gonna go to the last couple here. 1 Corinthians 5. Okay, one book up. 1 Corinthians 5. Let's look at that. And we're going to do 5 and we're going to do 3:13 from there as well. 1 Corinthians. Okay, now watch this. 1 Corinthians 5, and I am looking at verse 3. It says, Verily, for I verily, as absent in the body, but present in spirit, have judged already. Now, he just said, don't judge, right? He just kind of sounded like he said, don't judge. But then in the very next letter, he said, well, I judged already. Okay, so let's keep it in context, okay? Because I know there's some butter muffins out there who was thinking, oh, he just cut himself. He just cut himself with the scripture. We shouldn't be judging. See, Paul said it. And then the very next book, he just said, I judged something already. Yeah. For verily, as absent in the body, but present in spirit, have judged already, as though I were present, concerning him that has so done this deed. And in the name of our Lord, Yeshua HaMashiach, Jesus Christ, when you are gathered together in my spirit with the power of our Lord, Yeshua HaMashiach, or Jesus Christ, to deliver such a man unto Satan for the destruction of the flesh, that the spirit may be saved in the day of the Lord Jesus, or Yeshua. Your glorying is not good. Know ye not that a little leaven leavens the whole lump? Purge out therefore the old leaven, that ye may be a new lump, as ye are unleavened. For even Christ our Passover is sanctified for us. Therefore, let us keep the feast not with old leaven, neither with the leaven of malice and wickedness, but with the unleavened bread of sincerity and truth. I wrote unto you in an epistle not to company with fornicators, yet not altogether with the fornicators of this world, or with the covetous, or extortioners, or with idolaters, for then must ye needs go out of the world. But now I have written unto you not to keep company if any man that is called a brother be a fornicator, or covetous, or an idolater, or a railer, or a drunkard, or an extortioner, with such a one know not to eat. Don't keep company with these people. Stay away from them is what he's saying, right? For what have I to do to judge them also that are without? Do not ye judge them that are within? Aren't we supposed to judge those that are within? Like I was saying earlier in this lesson, I was just saying, if they have no fellowship with you, there's no point in you judging them. There's no point. Why are we wasting our breath passing judgment on people who don't even follow the book? Who cares? In 13. But them that are without, God judgeth. Therefore, put away from among yourselves that wicked person. So you know what? If they're not even with you, they're not old man. If they are not in your household, okay, and you're just a patriarch in your home, and that's it. Then you judge if somebody outside of that, don't worry about it. Or if you do have fellowship with the brethren or something like that, you can judge that because we're submitted one to another, right? We're submitted one to another. So yeah, we can judge that matter. If you're part of a community or a mag, you're part of an assembly, a congregation. Okay, yeah, we are to judge between one another because a wicked person, we need to put them out from among us. Someone who steals, they gotta go. Someone who commits adultery, they gotta go. Those who are hating and coveting after everything you have, guess what? They gotta go. Period. Disrespectful, don't want to honor the mother and father and all that, they gotta go. Don't want to, look at the 10. And then look at the rest of the Torah. They don't want to obey that kind of stuff. Hey, if they don't want to follow that dietary law, they gotta go. Okay? That's not to say you correct them and give them a chance, and then you watch them, and then they gotta correct that action. If they don't, they gotta go. All right? Out, 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 out. Period. Right? Don't keep company with them. They gotta go. All right? So we're gonna go to chapter 11, same book. Go up to chapter 11, 1 Corinthians 11. And then I'm going to start at 26. We're going to go 26 to 32. 26 to 32. For as often as ye eat this bread and drink this cup, ye do show the Lord's death till he come. Wherefore, whosoever shall eat this bread and drink this cup of the Lord unworthily shall be guilty of the body and blood of the Lord. But let a man examine himself, and so let him eat of that bread and drink of that cup. For he that eateth and drinketh unworthily eateth and drinketh damnation to himself, not discerning the Lord's body. Right? For this cause many are weak and sickly among you, and many sleep. For if we would judge ourselves, we should not be judged. If we make sure we're doing what we're supposed to do, we don't have to worry about somebody else judging us. You're doing right. You're walking orderly. You're walking righteously. You're on the path. You're on the way of holiness. If you're on that path, you don't have to worry about it, right? You don't have to worry about somebody else judging you. 31, he says, for if we would judge ourselves, we should not be judged. But when we are judged, we are chastened of the Lord, that we should not be condemned with the world, right? So we get corrected right here, right now. We don't have to worry about other people, that we're not condemned with the world. So sometimes when you judgment, like, bruh, and don't get me wrong, judgment, it doesn't mean it's necessarily got to be disrespectful or belligerent. It depends on that person, right? It depends on the person that you're judging, right? If someone is humble and they're wrong, you can tell them in a very humble way, brother, that's not what we do, man. That's not Torah. That's not right. That is wrong, and that needs to be corrected. Fair, firm, right? Now, you have someone who's belligerent, again. If you have someone who is belligerent, it's an egregious offense, and they don't care, then you put a little more sauce on it. All right? Brother, you out here wild, and you filthy. You're wrong for that. That's wrong, and then you know it's wrong too. And then you sit there and you proud of it too. You know you're not supposed to be doing. You know we don't do that. You know we do not rock like that. It's all about that Torah. It's all about what thus says the Lord. And this is how you're gonna do, man. Get up out of here. Get up out of here, man. Get up out of here before you get one left, right, good night. All right. That's how it goes. It depends on the situation. You got to judge it matter for matter, right? Matter for matter. That's how we got to look at it. Let's go to James. We only got like 3 more places. Let's go to James, and then we'll go ahead and shut it out. James 4 and 12. 4 and 12, just one verse. It says what? There is one lawgiver who is able to save and to destroy. Who art thou that judges another? It's like, be careful. I'm talking about like that final judgment. I don't hold the keys to the kingdom and stand at the gate and be like, okay, nope, you can't get in. Like I'm just some kind of bodyguard. Nope, nope, can't get in. Be like, you shall not pass. No, it's not. No, it's not like that. Right? So this is what he's warning us to be careful on that. Okay, we're not talking about whether or not you hold the keys to the kingdom. Not on that level. Be careful, lest ye be a castaway. Okay, so let's go 1 John. Okay, 1 John. 1 John chapter 2. 1 John chapter 2. And we're going to do 18 to 20. And 18 says this. Little children, it is the last time, and as ye have heard that Antichrist shall come. Even now, there are many Antichrists, whereby we know that it is the last time. They went out from us, but they were not of us. For if they had been of us, they would no doubt have continued with us. But they went out, that they might be made manifest that they were not all of us, right? So they're not really us, right? Again, we're judging false brethren. Like earlier I was talking about judging false prophets. Now we have to judge false brethren. And there's some out there, right? I came across plenty of false brethren. 20. But you have an unction from the Holy One, and you know all things. Basically, you know how to judge these matters. You'll know how to judge these matters, right? You'll get it. You'll get it. You'll know exactly how to judge these matters, right? So now, I want to go to my last place, so we can go ahead and close it out, which will be 1 Corinthians. Okay, let's go to 1 Corinthians, and this time we're going to go to chapter 6, 1 through 7, which reads, Dare any of you, having a matter against another, go to the law before the unjust and not before the saints? So you're going to have an issue, and you're going to go run to Rome to settle the matter? Interesting. Do you not know that the saints shall judge the world? And if the world shall be judged by you, I thought it's thou shalt not judge. Are you unworthy to judge the smallest matters? Know ye not that we shall judge angels? Now he's asking a question. You know we're going to judge angels, right? Okay. How much more of the things that pertain to this life? If then ye have judgments of things pertaining to this life, set them to judge who are least esteemed in the church. I speak to your shame. Is it so that there is not a wise man among you? No, not one that shall be able to judge between his brethren. But brother goeth to law with brother, and that before the unbelievers. 7. Now, therefore, there is utterly a fault among you, because you go to law one with another. Why do you not rather take wrong? Why do you not rather suffer yourselves to be defrauded? Why can't you, one, be able to judge a matter righteously? Why can't you judge a matter righteously? This is what Paul's asking. Say, why can't you judge a matter righteously? 2, why do you run into the law? Why do you want an unbeliever? Why would you want someone wicked to judge a matter against between parties that are supposed to be of the faith? Why would you do that? And 3, if you're wrong, why won't you simply accept fault if you're wrong? Get this matter taken care of. Be accountable if you're wrong. Be accountable. Accept the judgment of the elders. Whoever is adjudicating the matter, accept the judgment. Why can't we do that? Now, unless you have some corrupt kangaroo system out there, and okay, then you got to fix that. But if you have some elders, who are trusted and respected enough, when they look for people who are qualified, look for people who are about this Torah, who's about this life, who are learned, who are fair, who are not respecters of persons. If you have that, then why don't you accept the judgment of the brethren? You should set the, why not be accountable? Be responsible. Where's your honor? Now, we've come full circle. Yeah, people out there are saying, you know, judge not. And basically abusing that scripture. If we've just gone through all the scriptures and we notice whether it be Old Testament or New Testament, it doesn't matter to us, right? Where that is not the case. See, they try to take that particular scripture in a vacuum and try to make it seem like that is the prevailing message. That's the overall message that underlines everything else that is not true. The matter is, if you are going to judge righteously. That's the message. If you're going to judge righteously. I hope someone's got something out of this. Thank you for hanging in there. Thank you for allowing me to come into your home and teach what thus says the Lord. Please feel free to comment down below. Questions and comments. Check the description box. And for those who have been donating to the ministry, let me just simply say thank you. I haven't called out any names. I didn't want to, I didn't have your permission to call out your names and stuff, but you know who you are, those who have been donating to the ministry, donating to the teaching and stuff like that. I just want to say that it's greatly appreciated. But again, hey, I'm going to teach anyway. I will teach anyway, but hey, any little bit helps, let's just be honest. Okay. Every little bit helps. All the equipment and all this other stuff is not free, that kind of thing. So, but anyway, thank you guys very much. Until next time, search the scriptures, improve all things. Shalom, Israel.